So in this section, Krishna says, what are the symptoms of a detached worker? So Krishna is, from the beginning, is saying, perform your duty and don't attach yourself to the results of your activities. So then, let us see what it says. It starts with, Yasya sarva samarambe kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. So Krishna here describes the activities, like what he says is, one is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said to be the sage. He is said by the sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of the work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So, while discussing the interpretations of Bhagavad Gita, we have discussed how the karma, means the actions we do, are the binding factors for us to this material world. So, when you do any karma, like if you do pious karma, then you have to reap the pious benefits. And when you do bad karma, then you have to experience the bad reactions. So that is called karmic reaction. So, but for one, what is the goal of life? What Bhagavad Gita and Krishna says in the beginning only, that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul. As a soul, you have an eternal position in the spiritual world. And our endeavor should be to perform activity in such a manner that we get liberated from this material world. So anyhow, we have to work either in the process of devotion or either following spiritual life or without spirituality. We are for sure are supposed to work, because without work we cannot live only. And the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita says how to dovetail all our actions in service of Krishna, means just like how to perform activities such that it will lead to our liberation. It won't, the activity won't bind us, but it will liberate us. So that is that message of Bhagavad Gita. So here it is, this verse is saying, like the sages say, that somebody who is devoid of all desire for sense gratification, means, so basically we know that every activity that we do for pleasure. So, but if we perform the activities not for our sense pleasure, but for the pleasure of Krishna, means like how to work to give pleasure to Krishna, that is discussed. That is discussed also by the gurus, acharyas. They say what gives pleasure, means like we have to perform activity like a yajna. Means yajna means something which is performed for the pleasure of Vishnu. Then that kind of work won't bind. So he whose performance of all actions is devoid of expectations of desired results, who aims at realizing Atma through his actions, is called a learned man. One whose Atma is one who knows Atma by wise. And why is he called so? Because when his heart becomes pure by his execution of the desireless duties, then all his accumulated karma will be burnt up by the fire of Atma Jnana, by which one has made the appearance. So it happens, it means like one is in full knowledge. So all his actions or endeavors are centered around for the pleasure of Krishna. So for that person, like there are three types of karma. That is, karma means performing good activity. Vikarma means performing bad activity. Karma gives good reactions. Akarma means gives good. Karma gives good reactions. Vikarma gives bad reactions. Akarma gives no reaction. So we should not perform karma. We should not perform vikarma we should perform akarma. So for that, but like no, it is just like no, very nice example is a military person is fighting for his country. When he kills, when a military man, like no, in a soldier, goes in the war and kills hundreds of enemy soldiers, he'll be awarded. He will not be punished. But if the same soldier comes home and kills his neighbor, for any personal reasons, then he'll be put in jail. So he may complain like, no, I have killed thousands and hundreds of men at war, and I was not punished. I was rewarded. But I just one person. Why this imprisonment? Why? Because in the first case, he is not working on for his own interest. He is working for the higher authority. So in the same way, actions endeavor devoid of all sense gratification. So that is a very high example. You can take anything, maintaining family, eating, sleeping, or no, our role in the society, our role in the family, our dealing with others. Everything can be done for the pleasure of Krishna. Then it will be devoid of all sense gratification. Means for sure, this material world is designed in such a way that we are entitled to some enjoyment and some inconveniences. That is there. Even with your all perfect, even if you are well-dressed person, or you are the most learned person, or you are, you will still get some difficulties in your life based on our previous karmic reactions. So the happiness and distress entitled for us will come without even our so much of endeavor. Means so the happiness and distress cannot be avoided, but that should not be our goal. Our goal should be only to perform all the activities as a service to Krishna for the satisfaction of Krishna. So even if you do everything in the service of Krishna, if you see a lot of devotees are there, they do right from the beginning. They do, and they as soon as they wake up, they take bath, they do puja, and then they do their meditation, and then goes to office, work all day long, and come back and maintain their families. They are doing all the work as the outsiders. But what is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee? The devotee, by all his actions, he is getting liberated. Day by day is getting purified. Whereas a person who is working independently, who is working without any knowledge, is getting tied up again and again. Because the consciousness matter. Because here it says, the burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge, means how to engage everything in Krishna's service. That's what makes the difference. So that knowledge can be given by following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita through by the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So knowledge of eternal servitorship of the Lord or acting in constitutional position, that should be known. Means we should not think that we are the controllers. No, we are the maintainers. Like we will see in future how it makes the difference. So that's where the knowledge comes into the picture. So knowledge, when we work with knowledge, there is a great deal of transformation in our consciousness. Consciousness means the mood, the attitude with which we engage ourselves in each and every activity. So Prabhupada says, only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because he is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory proprietorship, it is to be understood that he has burnt up the reactions of his work by the perfect knowledge of constitutional position. So the development of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire at once kindled can burn off all the reactions. So the beauty of Krishna consciousness is, even if you didn't take up Krishna consciousness, if you have performed out of ignorance many activities, either pious, impious, or many previous births also, many years also. But when you once realize your relationship with Krishna, and when you started engaging yourself or performing your activities as a service to Krishna, immediately that will, it is like a fire. Once it is kindled, it can burn up all kinds of reactions of the work. So Krishna consciousness means working with a conscious, being conscious of Krishna means working as a servitor of Krishna, means like I'm not working, I'm only being an instrument in the hands of Krishna. That mood, that consciousness, when one develops, one can really see and feel that he's only an instrument, is not the doer. Like no, we have to put aside the doership mentality and should be submissive to the servitorship in the hands of Krishna. Then for such a kind of person, even all his past activities, like his past will be purified, his future will be purified, and his present will be purified. Means even though like he knowingly have done some activities in the past and he is trapped into many things, but as soon as he comes into this stage of Krishna consciousness or a servitorship mood of towards Krishna, then he will immediately burns all the reactions from the past or that are going to come in the future also, and that are that the entanglements in the presence also. So that is the power of Krishna consciousness. So next verse says, Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya trupto nirashrayah karmani api pravrittopi naiva kinchin karoti sha. So this verse says the activities of one in knowledge, one in full knowledge are detached. So what are the activities, like how the activities of one in knowledge differs from the activities of one in without knowledge. So one in knowledge, even if he is engaged in all kind of activities, now we should discuss it, right? He might be doing job, he might be maintaining families, he might be doing different things, but he is not, nothing is going to bind him up. He is always detached. If you see here, somebody, some mata is chanting here, somebody is cleaning, somebody is cutting vegetables, or somebody is listening to class, or somebody is driving or doing some office work. All those things, while performing all those things, they are constantly remembering Krishna. Means they are in a mood that I am doing this thing for the pleasure of Krishna. When one is fully conscious of that fact, then he will be always freed from all the reactions of the karma. And for that person, there is no reaction, and actions are endeavors of work. Okay, and it is called akarma, and acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means, like as we say, love means service. Means if you love somebody, we serve them nicely. So when we love Krishna, then we see that everything is the property of Krishna, and we always tries to engage everything in Krishna service. It is like a business venture. Like if there is a, like what you call a business, or in like a shares like stocks. Like there is a business in which if you invest $1, you're going to get $1 million in return. So then you don't just invest $1 and keep quiet. Like a person, a wise person, what he does is he invests whatever he has got in the business, in that business. Means like it is the process of the Krishna consciousness. The knowledge of Bhakti Yoga is such that it will give full, like it is like there is no fall down in this path, and the success is 100%. Like everybody success is 100% guaranteed. There is no failure in Krishna consciousness. So you can take cheers. That's fine. So such a path, like if like you can invest in on different levels. Like for example, like one may engage in karma yoga, means only work and give the fruits of actions. to Krishna. That is karma yoga. And one may engage in jnana yoga, or only studying about the studying different scriptures and different things. That is the different literature that are related to Krishna. That is called jnana yoga. Means like how to understand Krishna through the process of knowledge. That is jnana yoga. And one may engage in purifying the self by engaging different like activities like Ashtanga yoga, pranayama, all of that is Ashtanga yoga, means engaging body and mind. So like there are different investments. Like one may say, okay, I will only invest this much amount in this business, which is going to give me $1 million in return for each dollar I invest. As one advances, he develops confidence in the process, and he develops faith in the process. He says, yes, this process is true. This is really worth it. This is I can dedicate my entire life for this process. Such a kind of person become a bhakti yogi. Bhakti yogi, what is the difference between bhakti yogi and other yogis? A bhakti yogi, right from the beginning, right from the day, right from his wakes up in the morning till he goes to sleep in the night, or even in the sleep also, he will always be fully Krishna conscious. How can I engage? How can I engage everything in Krishna service? That is a bhakti yogi. So that kind of person will get immense returns. Whereas if you see karma yogi, he invests only karma. Okay, I will work this many hours for myself and 1 hour for Krishna. That kind of person will give same response. Krishna says, "Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajamim." Means however you want to approach me, that way I reciprocate accordingly. Means if you want only 10% in your life for Krishna, then Krishna only comes 10%. If you want Krishna 100%, Krishna will come 100%. So a bhakti yogi is a person who realizes the fact that, yes, I want to dedicate everything in Krishna's, I want to fully dedicate my life and work and everything for Krishna's service. That person, what he does is every moment, with respect to, he doesn't consider his family as his family. He doesn't even consider his body as his body. It is meant for Krishna's service. It is that's how he engages right from the beginning to the end of the day. He engages every moment in Krishna's service. Means it is said in Krishna scripture said, even if you remember Krishna once, it is going to burn off the sinful reactions that you can hardly even imagine to commit. So then how come bhakti yogi or a devotee who is always remembering Krishna, how he will be at loss? So somebody can enjoy his life whatever the way he wanted and just remember Krishna. And if you remember Krishna, he's going to get rid of all sinful reactions. Then what is the difference between a bhakti yogi who is always remembering Krishna or a karmi who wants to enjoy and only remember Krishna so that he will be freed from all sinful reactions? What is the difference is, the Krishna's reciprocation is also like that. Means a loving relation. There is no limit to the Krishna's love. Krishna is unlimited in every aspect. So the way a bhakti yogi, he experiences newer and newer realizations. So that's how he progresses. If you see here, he acts out of pure love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means if somebody is in love, they don't have any reservation. They will go to any extent. Like if some beloved person is there, wanted to convey their love towards him, they will go towards any extent, so that their loving relationship will be established between them, and not attached to personal maintenance. He is not attached to about how much I am going to gain from this work, what reciprocation I may get, or he doesn't care about any results. He just goes and dedicates everything to the beloved and not anxious to secure things for his own benefit, and not to protect the things already in his possession. Means he is not hankering after something which he doesn't have, and he is not worried about the things that are in his possession. Oh, I may lose him, I may lose that, I may lose this. He is fully free from all the anxieties and does his duty to the best of his ability, and leave everything to Krishna. So that is the thing that we have to keep in the mind. When we are engaging in fully Krishna conscious, when we perform our activities in a fully Krishna conscious way, we have to do our best. A devotee should take the responsibility to act very responsibly, both on the material terms and on the spiritual terms. He has to take full responsibility of his office work, and he has to work with full attention and with full dedication, and give his best at his work also, and then leave the rest for Krishna to decide. So if it is good for him, Krishna will definitely give immediately. If it is not so good, then Krishna will hold it back, because Krishna is Swarat. There is nobody above him. There is nobody above Krishna. But if it is other demigods, if you do something, the demigod has to do that. We saw many examples, right, previously. Like if somebody worships any demigod like Surya or Indra or some demigods like Ganesh. So if you do any vrata or any bona fide activity and in their worship and any karmakandic activity, then the demigod, either if it is good or bad for you, like for example, Ravana prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva came and gave him benedictions, whatever he asked for. And due to those benedictions, Ravana became very arrogant. He actually did lot of harm to himself rather than harming others. He also harmed others also, but more harm came towards him, because due to this arrogance, he offended everybody, including there is Lord Ram in his account also. So due to which he lost his family, everything, whatever he has achieved, he lost everything. So I think I missed the point. So doing our duty to the best of, and they'll do everything for Krishna. And next he says, like if we see like all these qualifications, like last weekend was a seminar on 6 Goswamis. They are very exalted devotees, bhakti yogis. And if we heard that seminar, like we have seen how they lived with full faith on Krishna. They used to travel, they used to they don't care about anything. They just used to live underneath the trees, and they just always started chanting Krishna's name and always started preaching and fully dependent on Krishna and barely taking anything for their physical maintenance. So here is a great devotee, Madhavendra Puri. When he went to Vrindavan, he was fully absorbed in Krishna's chanting, and all day and night he was sitting and chanting. He was not caring about his maintenance. He was physical, for a physical body to maintain itself. He has to have some food, to bathing and all those things. Bathing he will do definitely, because he's a Brahmana. So he's not caring about anything. He was just sitting and chanting all day long. So then Krishna himself personally came and delivered that milk to Madhavendra. Said, "Oh Gosai, why are you chanting? Like in Vrindavan, if somebody comes, he goes and asks for some food in some householders. So you are not doing anything. You are not going anywhere. So I see that you have been sitting here without any food for many days. So I brought this milk for you." And Madhavendra asked, "Who are you? How do you know that I didn't eat anything for many days?" And Krishna says, "No, I am a cowherd by here. I have been seeing you like that." So he gave a pot of milk and then he left. And he said, "I will come back later and I will take the pot." So then Madhavendra Puri drank that milk, and then he continued his the spiritual practice. After some time, like when later in the night, Madhavendra Puri went to sleep, Krishna came in the dream and said that I was the cowherd boy who came to you to see you. So that's how Krishna reciprocated with him. So like if you see that if you have attended that seminars on 6 Goswamis, their life is also full of dedication, full of dependence on Krishna without caring for externals. And here it says, "Nirashar yata chitta Chittatma Taktya Sarva Parigraha Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham. So for a actions in Krishna consciousness, activities of one in full knowledge, free from sense of proprietorship, acts only for bare necessities of life. Okay, so bare necessities varies from place to place. Now, as you know, like bare necessities for a person who is in the renounced order are different from bare necessities in a person who is in householder life or brahmacharya life, something like that. So action in Krishna consciousness means akarma is unattached to the work, to the results of the work. Okay, he performs work with the following consciousness. Okay, he does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled, because as you know, like desires, like if you desire for something, like I want this only in this particular way, then we are showing the seed for our suffering. Means with the expectations comes the suffering. When we are attached to when we are expecting something, means we are attached to something. When that desire is not fulfilled, we immediately become frustrated, and we develop different kind of anxieties, disappointments, all those things we develop. But he does not expect good or bad results in his activities. He performs his duty, and mind and intelligence are fully controlled. So, because there is no limit to the desires. So, when we fulfill one desire, another desire will come ready in the queue. And when we fulfill that desire, another desire will come up. Means there is no, means unless we are controlled in mind and senses, we cannot be truly Krishna conscious. And desires always dovetailed with desire for supreme. So what we have to desire is, our desire should be always to dovetail our activities in Krishna service. So when we have the desires of Krishna, our desires are Krishna consciousness, our desires are Krishna conscious, then we will be fully relieved. Okay, no desire for sense gratification, and also maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for the actions in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Not no real independence. Example: animals has no proprietorship even over his body, and fully engaged in self-realization, has very little time for falsely possess any material objects. For maintaining the body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. So these are the different qualities, or these are the different ways in which a detached person will perform his activities. Means his mood and his mentality. So the good example for that is Hanuman. Okay, Hanuman is like, he even though he performed very great activities. Now if you see in Ramayana, like Hanuman actually jumped over Lanka, and sometimes he carries over entire mountain on his hand and kill many demons. So after performing all those activities, he doesn't claim anything for his own enjoyment. He is always worshipping the feet of Lord Ram, means always chanting the holy name of Lord Ram, and eliminate the feeling of I did it and I can only do it. Means like we should think that there are many factors that are influenced in each and every activity. And harsh truth is that in reality, you can't do anything on your own without God's sanction. So nice example is like, for example, there is a switch here. Okay, if you turn on switch, lights will on, and turn off switch, lights will be turned off. So then we think that we are the doer. But if the power station guy cuts off the power, the switch doesn't make any sense. So it's like that. Means unless there is the sanction of Krishna behind it, behind any activity, even though we endeavor, it may not fructify. It doesn't mean that we should stop enduring in life. We should endure. We should do our duty. But sometimes it might be due to different reasons that something may not come. Like if you see, like especially person in Krishna consciousness, they make great progress in calamities rather than in when everything is nice and fair. Like that's why Kunti Mara embrace, let the calamities come into my life again and again so that I can always remember you. So, like a person who is a devotee, who is performing activities in the in devotion to Krishna, with the devotion to Krishna, for him there is no loss. If he gains something, he will be grateful to Krishna. If he loses something, he will take shelter of Krishna. So there is these gain and loss are done bother him anymore. So if you like there I saw some devotees who are actually like they are very nice and they're nice family and fully Krishna conscious. Suddenly something is detected, some horrible thing came into life. One of their family members detected with cancer or something like that, and that family, even though and some devotee is losing job, or some devotee like great calamities, not even like imagine, like hard to imagine like how they can withstand. So they actually they don't even budge an inch from what they're practicing Krishna consciousness. They'll do same routine, they will carry on same services, like most like even sometimes like very great. I cannot explain everything. Like I feel very even myself feel very stressful like while narrating them. So even like they carried on their Krishna conscious life, and they went through that phase, and again they became normal. So means that phase in which that is called testing period. That phase when you withhold, you will make an immense spiritual benefit, immense spiritual progress in your spiritual life. If you means that calamities will bring much closer to Krishna if you are attached to, if you are still connected to Krishna. And if you like it is said that Krishna is when Krishna is merciful, he will give whatever you have. He will give a lot of all nice relatives, good health, and good name, fame, and everything. Well situated materially, socially, economically, well situated. But Krishna is like supremely merciful, means ultimate, means extremely merciful. He will take out everything from his life. Means he will take out all his relatives, he will take out his health, he will take out his name, fame, everything. Means he will be like fully naked, means fully like nothing left with him. He has to fully surrender to Krishna. At that point, like like that is supreme mercy of Krishna. Like if you see, there are many devotees, like the greatest example is our Srila Prabhupada himself. Like he was a great businessman. He was like it is said to be like and one astrologer predicted him. In his life, he will become a great devotee or a great like like wealthiest person. So like in those days, in during the freedom fight, not during the fight, in 1960s, at that point of time, he actually owned a owned a drug company, and he was trading all over India. And later on, some phases came into his life. He lost all his, like so many people cheated on him, and so many losses in his business. No, Prabhupada was not like not any unexperienced or anything like that. He was a very experienced. He was a very intelligent. He is very particular about details also. So, but still, so many ways. Like it is said that when Krishna wants to take, how much can we hold? And when Krishna wants to give, how much can you take? So Like if Krishna took out everything from his life. No, he took like his there is a robbery in his factory, and very much loss and all those things. And he finally, but he never left Krishna. Turbulations, he actually became very successful. He never left Krishna, and he becomes very when a lot of failures came into his life, he never left Krishna. He just kept on continuing, and like no, when after he comes to America, like that we will see, he engaged everything in Krishna service. No, like there are some situations like destiny determines, like there are some personalities like they, even though the choice in their hand, they think that, oh, and nothing is in my hands, I cannot do anything. If Krishna's will is there, I will, it will happen. If not is there, I will not happen, like that. So but like the nice example is Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was the king. He could have made the choices. Hmm? Like even though his sons, like he could have controlled his son Duryodhana and all those things, but he says not, like I cannot do anything. But Vidura says no, destiny. Like why are you blaming the destiny? Why are you putting the blame on others? It is you. You have to make the choice. Destiny brings different things together. Means destiny gives the wealth, and it is up to you how to use that wealth. Destiny gives the time. It is up to you how to use that time. So we should not put everything on destiny. We should take the responsibility, whatever is there, and we should do that. So there are different kinds of persons. Some persons says that everything is in my hands. So such persons, what they do, when the person says that everything in my hand, if success comes into their life, they will take full credit of it, and they will be fully boasted, like they become arrogant, or they become over self-conscious. And if some failure comes in their life, they become depressed, and they become like they will not be able to work the way they are normally. And second kind of person is somebody who doesn't work at all, and he says, if Krishna wants to give, he'll give, or no, like putting everything on Daiva. So both ways are incorrect. So, but what we have to do, the duty is in our hands, but the result we should not be attached to. So, according to scriptures, one must perform Panchamahayagnas, we already discussed, like perform writing scriptures, offering prayer, performing yajna, and offering charity, and taking care of all these things, Panchamahayagna we discussed. But in this age of Kali, that is, Panchamahayagna can be condensed into performing Sankirtana Yajna, means chanting the holy name of Krishna. And that is our duty. And while performing our duty, we should be fully dependent on Krishna. This is a photo showing that how Srila Prabhupada, in the age of 70, he came to United States. He endeavored to go to United States to take the message of Krishna consciousness to the Western world. So in the boat, he got 2 heart attacks already when the boat is on the Indian shore only. So like it is the testing period for him. So actually the boat started in the West Bengal, and the boat came all the way to the Mumbai port. So from the time it started in the West Bengal to the, means it has to go this way, means he's still connected to the ports only, ports of India only. So during that time only he got heart attack 2 times. So third heart attack comes means he is going to lose his life. So, but still Prabhupada was determined, no matter what, this body belongs to Krishna. If I die in serving Krishna, then my life will be successful. He thought like that, and he still stayed in the boat only without getting off. So, and when the boat left Mumbai port, and the boat started traveling towards the America, and then like it is leaving the Indian borders for good. Then that point of time, Prabhupada was in very much of like a severe pain. At that point of time, Krishna came in his dream, and Prabhupada got a vision. Krishna appeared along with all his incarnations and rowing the boat personally. Means if you see here, Krishna is there, Balram, Parashram, Narsingadev, Matsya, Kurma, Hamsa Avatar, Varaha Avatar, all the Avatar, Dasha Avatar, Krishna, he could see, he could experience Krishna's presence in that calamity. So that is the mood of a devotee. He is fully surrendered to Krishna. He works. He's not saying, oh, if Krishna, Krishna, I'm taking your message, so I should be going directly in a flight. He doesn't think like that. Whatever way, no, it is like our endeavor should be like a flow of river towards the sea. So when a river flows, so sometimes a river has to climb steep mountains. Sometimes it has to flow down the hills. So sometimes its path is very easy to go, and sometimes its path is very difficult. Sometimes big rocks and sometimes big blockages come in its way. So the river, what does it do? He keeps flowing. Somehow or other, he keeps enduring. Either it's going free nicely or it is going difficultly. It never stops. It will sometimes turn around. It sometimes go below the earth and come out, and sometimes it will go around. Sometimes it will go flow above. So its endeavor will never stop. It will continuously flowing towards sea, or endeavoring to flow towards sea in different ways. So in our life also, sometimes we get difficulties. Sometimes we get in our life goes very well. So it is not, we should not hold responsibility towards, no, my life was very good. That why Krishna would have kept me throughout my life like that only. It would have been very nice. No, it's not like that. We make very little progress when there is only pleasures, or there are no pains. So we might make more progress when there are difficulties in our life also. And Prabhupada finally arrived here and established this Krishna conscious movement. So if you see the life of Prabhupada when he was in India, he is a founder Acharya of this such a big organization. But when he was in India, he personally used to print the Back to Godhead magazines and personally go to each and every person. He sometimes go into tea stalls and gives this booklets of Krishna conscious message. And sometimes some people will honor him. Oh, you are doing such a nice work. You are spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita. That's in the English language also, and they will appreciate. Sometimes some people will neglect. No, we are not interested. Go away from here like that. Some people make offenses also. Like when Prabhupada went to distribute some books into one home, that person actually let his dog on Prabhupada, and that dog came attacking Prabhupada. So Prabhupada has tolerated all those things. So even when we are connected to Krishna, sometimes our life will go very nicely, whatever as per our expectations. Sometimes many reversals comes into our life. So, and also he does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. Like if you have seen the 6 Goswami seminars, if you not seen like their recordations also, they don't even maintain, they actually didn't even stay at one place, because they want to do fully depend on Krishna. Like what they used to do, they used to take shelter underneath one tree in one night. So whatever, if they have sat underneath one tree one day, and the next day they will not sit under that tree. They will vacate that place and move to different tree. Means see, if you take shelter in one place, you will make situation very comfortable. Means no anxiety, there is some we'll make the flooring, we'll make all those things, preparations, right? But the 6 Goswamis are so renowned that they actually only they had a loincloth around their neck, around their waist, and then they have one water pot in their hand, and they are fully always chanting Krishna's name and doing Krishna's service, and they don't even stay underneath one tree more than one day. Hmm? And they don't even care for, like if they sometimes by Krishna's accord, by Krishna's mercy, if they get some food, they eat. If they don't get, they fast. So they are, and they just drink water and survive. So that is their dependence on Krishna. And satisfied with gains which are obtained with their own accord. Means, if you see this verse, Yadrucha Labha Santushta, means without great endeavor, whatever Yadrucha Labha Santushta means, he is satisfied whatever comes into his life on its own accord. He is not going to run after different things. So he does his duty, like no, and but leave the rest to Krishna. So that is the, like all the devotees should know, like should always remember. Yes, you can enjoy, you can take pleasure into different things, which comes into your life without much endeavor. We should not running after the pleasures. If some pleasures come to us, okay, you can enjoy with fully Krishna conscious, with fully gratefulness to Krishna. But we should not be so much of attached to that pleasure. If that pleasure want to go from our life, let it go. Like that, that should be our attitude. And independent of his livelihood, labors honestly as far as his powers, labors honestly as far as is in his power, and satisfied with whatever obtained by his own honest labor, does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own Krishna consciousness, and does not hesitate to work for the satisfaction or the service of the Lord, and he can he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by his duality. Therefore, steady both in success and failure. So that is the way a devotee works. Means he doesn't his happiness doesn't depend on anything. He is fully self-satisfied. And if there is one more life, nice pastime of Jada Bharat, he was, even though he was very qualified person, he was sometimes he was given honor, and like now, if you see, he was made to carry the palanquin, and like there is a story of Jada Bharat in the Bhagavatam that will come, and this Jada Bharat was a very qualified person. He's a very self-realized person. So he was standing somewhere in the, and one time one king was going that way, and one of his palanquin carrier got sick, and he was not able to carry. So they saw Jada Bharat, who was standing there, and he was quite healthy. So they engaged him to carry the palanquin. So, and when Jada Bharat was carrying the palanquin, he saw some ants, and in order not to step on the ants, he started moving here and there. So due to which this the king who was sitting on the palanquin got so much of disturbance. So he started speaking harsh words towards the Jada Bharat. And Jada Bharat says, what is the difference between, like, ants and you? Ants are there in their body and they are progressing in their own way, and I cannot step on the ants. Like that, it says, means with the 2 or 3 sentences that Jada Bharat has said, the king has realized that this person is not an ordinary person. He is a great sage. And immediately he took the shelter of Jada Bharat, and he begged forgiveness, and he took instruction from him. So if we take the life of Jada Bharat, when he was engaged as a servant, like he was a very qualified, like somebody who has done PhD. He was engaged to do some menial work under some illiterate person. He might feel things that he is like, he's not working on his level. But in the case of Jada Bharat, he was like in his previous life, he is King Bharata. He was the emperor of entire planet. But still, he was not very attached to the honor and dishonor. So, and even if you see the life of any devotees, like they always, their aim is always to engage all activities in the service of Krishna, and do their best, and then becoming fully Krishna consciousness, and one is free from all the dualities, and thus free from all the contaminations of material modes. Yes. And he becomes liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Okay. And how does he lead the life? Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Means it has been stated in the previous words that one should perform actions for the purpose of yajna. What type of yajna is this is explained here, okay? Everything situated in this Brahma Jyoti, it said like everything Brahma Arpanam means like as an offering to, as an offering to Brahman. Hmm. So Brahman means spiritual. No, here it is said, no, I'm not able to recall the thing. So Krishna conscious person, he actually works for the pleasure of Krishna. Like no, Yagnohai Vishnu means anything performed for the pleasure of Krishna is Yajna. And like Krishna has three features, right? Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahman means it refers to the spiritual aspect where like even the impersonalists can correlate to. That's why this verse is very famous on the impersonalist circles. Okay, everything is situated in the Brahma Jyoti, but when the Jyoti is covered by the illusion or sense gratification, it is called material. So the Lord is spiritual, and the rays of the transcendental body are called Brahma Jyoti. Okay. And see, there are three, as I said, there are three aspects of Krishna. Means Krishna as a person is there, and the rays emanating from Krishna is called Brahman, and Krishna in the form of Paramatma, Krishna in the heart of every living entity is called Paramatma. So Krishna in his impersonal aspect is called Brahman. So everything, like this shloka says, Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havi means everything has to be performed for the pleasure of Krishna. And Samadhi means that anything transcendental consciousness, Yajna, Samadhi should be. Samadhi means what is Samadhi? Being fully conscious that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul, or fully Krishna conscious. That is called Samadhi. Hmm. So, and one who actually overcomes this material covering, material, when one is in illusion, is under the influence of material covering. Through the process of knowledge, when he overcomes this covering of illusion, then he will be situated in the platform of Brahman. So, there are different aspects, okay? A neutral person or a person in the material world, a person in the Brahma Jyoti, or a person in the back to Godhead. Means like this material world is there, this all the material world is there, and above material world is Brahma Jyoti, and above Brahma Jyoti is spiritual world or Vaikuntha or Gorak Vrindavan is like that. So everything that like I'm talking about the karmakandic person means a person who is acting on the senses, who is trying to satisfy the senses. His activities will drag him down. He means he's on the negative scale. A person who is on the level of Brahman is on the level of zero, means no good, no bad. Everything is balanced out properly. No enjoyment, no suffering. He's at peace. Okay. And a person who is on the spiritual above the Brahman means who is on the spiritual world is on the positive scale, means he will be tasting the sweetness of love of Krishna in his transcendental loving reciprocations on Krishna. Every minute this spiritual ecstasy is increasing. So that is positive scale. It is like like one of the preacher was saying, like wife and husband staying at wife and husband quarreling, and wife goes to her mother's home, and husband stays here. That is a peaceful state. Means that is level 0. And wife and husband staying in same home, quarreling each other. That is negative state. Means that gives a lot of anxiety. But the same wife and husband staying together, understanding each other's mood and understanding each other's mind, and then acting accordingly and for the pleasure of Krishna. That is a positive scale. Means from anxiety to level 0 to a loving reciprocation. So everything is there. Positivity is there, negativity is there, and neutrality is there. So this verse mostly speaks about on the platform of neutrality. Means when you perform everything as thinking about Brahman, and everything will be very peaceful like that. So activities in Krishna consciousness, ultimate spiritual goal is a conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to acting material attachment, yet to get out of entanglement. So I'll just summarize the session, whatever we have gone through so far. So we have discussed the qualities of the a self-realized person. So or a person who is acting on the who is a detached person. So he engages all one who engages all his activities, but being devoid of sense enjoyment and burnt up all reactions for his work through the fire of knowledge, and he gives up all attachment to the results of activities, and he is being ever satisfied and independent. Although engaged in all kind of activities, he performs no fruit of action. Means, although he performs all the activities, he is always fully engaging in Krishna service. He doesn't think himself, I am the owner of everything. He is free from desires. He is self-controlled. He free from all sense of proprietorship, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. And he doesn't he doesn't increase the sin. Means like what to do and what not to do. So he does what is prescribed, and he avoids what is not prescribed. And he is satisfied, which comes on its own accord, and he tolerates the dualities and free from envy. And he is steady in both success and failure, and he never entangled, although performs actions. He is unattached to the modes of nature. He is fully situated in the transcendental knowledge, acts for the sake of yajna, only for Krishna, and doesn't incur reactions. So if a person acts with all these qualities, he doesn't incur any reaction and merges into transcendence. So the last words that we speak is, by spiritual oblations with the spiritual instruments, he offers the spiritual offered into spiritual life by the spiritual person. One is surely attain the spiritual kingdom by being absorbed in the spiritual activities. Means that's what he does. Means by spiritual oblations, means like whatever he has, like if here this verse is speaking about the yajna only. So when we can perform every activity for as a yajna, means if any activity performed directly for the service as for the satisfaction of Krishna is spiritual in nature. There is nothing material when it comes to Krishna consciousness. Everything gets spiritualized. So by spiritual oblations with spiritual instruments, means which are engaged in the service of Krishna, those are all spiritual instruments, offered to the spiritual fire by a spiritual person. One is surely attains the spiritual kingdom by being absorbed in spiritual activities. So only thing we have to do is become fully Krishna conscious and know that everything is related to Krishna service. And when we perform all our activities as a service to Krishna, then one becomes not only happy in this material world, but also he being observed, he will attain the spiritual kingdom. Okay, that is the end of our session. If you have any questions, Mataji, Ravish, Hare Krishna, anybody have any questions online? Okay, we'll end it here. Karandra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.